Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, I will show you how to add routing to your React application. So I've created this route, and by the end of this video, you will have all of it. So I've created this navigation bar where I have two links. The card link doesn't work for now because we are going to add the card in the later videos. But we have the home link which is taking us to the same page, this one. But I've also added the link to the product cards where you can just click this link and go to the individual page for that card. So you can see the details of the products based on the ID we pass here. So I'm going to show you how to create the static routes, which are these one, and the dynamic routes, which is this one. And I've also added a new route which is /user. So here you can see the nested routes. So you can see that the user path will still stay the same if I click on any of these links. Just this one will be changed. And based on this path, we'll be able to see either profile or settings. So in this video, I've shown how to add child routes, how to add dynamic routes, and how to have a normal routing configuration. So let's get started. Let's add a new component so that we are going to create a navigation bar now, which will have some links like home, card. We have not implemented card yet, but we'll still create a link for it. So I'm going to create a new file, navigation.jsx. This will be a functional component. Let's return some JSX, inside which we will have an unordered list which has two list items, and these will be the links. So I need to import link from React Router DOM, but before that we need to install that. So I've opened my terminal and I'm going to install React Router DOM. So this is the package which is going to allow us to add routing in our application. So this is now installed and I can now import link from React Router DOM. Now what's the difference between this link component and the anchor tag? So when we use the link component, it does not refresh the page. But if we use anchor tag, it is going to refresh the page every single time. So we don't want that to happen because we can lose some state during that process. So it's better to use the link tag which is provided by React Router DOM package. So this link will be for the home page and it will be a default path, and this will be for the cart. I'm not going to add any link, so let's say just a hash. Okay, let's export this. Navigation. Okay, I'm going to add some styles for this one, and let's add a navigation.css file. This div tag, it will have the class name navigation. Or let's say it's navbar. Let's keep it simple. We have the navbar class, and I want to access the UL element. I'm going to do display flex and justify content to be center, and I think that's it for now. We'll add some new styles later. So let's see what we have in the browser. I will now refresh the page and we don't see any navigation bar. Well, the thing is, we forgot to import that component into a file and then use it. So that was my bad. Let's go to the code. So I want the navigation bar to be visible throughout the application, not just for the home page or for the card. It has to be there throughout the application. So instead of adding it inside the home.jsx file, let's add it inside app.jsx. So I'm going to import navigation and place it here. Okay, let's save this and go to the browser. Now if I refresh the page, we don't see anything. And we must be getting an error in console which says cannot destructure property base name of React 10 use context as it is null. There is one warning, an error occurred in the link component. Okay, so this is about adding error boundary, but let's focus on the error first. So we get this error because we forgot to wrap our whole application inside the browser router. Now let's see what the browser router is. So to give you a summary of browser router, so it's about so React Router DOM package offers us this component which is used to enable the client-side routing in React applications. So before this, we used to do server-side routing. So we used to click a link, the request goes to the server, and the server gives us the page. Now in this case, we only have one HTML file, which is index.html, and because of browser router, we can enable the client-side routing so that we just don't send a request to the server every single time we want to load a page. We can just do it on client side. So that's the basic information about browser router. So this is the component which we use to wrap our whole application uh, inside it. So let's do that. Let's import browser router and let's wrap the whole application inside it. Now we can import the browser router in here in the app.jsx file and wrap the whole code inside it. But I would like to do that in the parent file or the parent file of app.jsx, which is main.jsx. We have imported app in here. So let's import browser router, and inside the strict mode, I will add it. And now I will move this app component inside it. Now it is done. Let's see what we have in browser. Okay, now we don't see any error. We can see the navigation bar. If I click on it, I'm going to stay in the home page, which is this one. If I click cart, nothing is going to happen because I haven't added any path yet, because there is no cart in our application right now. But we don't get any error and we can see our application running fine. Now before adding the routing configuration for our app, let's go to the styles navigation.css, and I don't think I have imported it in the navigation.jsx. Yeah, and that's why I wasn't able to see the styles as well. Let's go to styles navigation.css. Yeah, so now we should be having the styles, and I want to add some styles for the list item as well. Navbar uli, and the list style should be none. Okay, that's enough. And now I want to come to the app.jsx file, and this is where I will add the routing configuration. To add the routing configuration, I want to import the routes component and the route component, so the plural and the singular from React Router DOM. So I'm going to import routes and the route. Now the route is like a wrapper for all the routes. Okay, I'm just making you confused maybe, but we wrap the route component inside the routes component. Okay, I'll show you how it's done. So let me do it in here below the navigation bar. So I'll first use the routes. So this is the wrapper we have. Now I will make use of the route. Now if you remember, when I clicked on the home page, nothing happened. The home link in the nav bar, nothing happened. When I clicked on the cart link as well, nothing happened. We were not able to see anything because we did not add the configuration for routing. Now that we have it, or we will have it, something will happen in our application which will enable us to navigate through different pages. So the route has two properties which we can use. The first one is path, and here we can mention the path of that component. It has to be just the slash for the home page, and then it has another property named as element, and this will take the component which we want to render on this path. So it will be home. Okay, I can now remove home from here, and if I save it and go to the browser, so first of all we can see some styles which I added, just the basic ones. But yeah, if I now click home, nothing happens because we're already on the home page. But trust me, we now have the routing. Okay, but let's see if I specify different path, because this is the slash one, so we won't get to see anything happening when we click this link. But I'll mention or I'll add a different path for this one so that we'll be able to see the changes. Okay, so let's go to the code. So instead of slash, let's have home. Okay, let's save this and go to the browser. Now if you see, we are on the slash path and we don't see anything. Okay, and we also see a warning that says no routes matched location slash. Okay, but if I click home, then okay, do you know why this is happening? We still get the error or the warning when I click on this, because this link here, it contains the link to slash. Okay, we have added the link component inside the navigation bar, and there I have specified the link as slash. So when I click on this, it is going to take us to the default slash path where we haven't specified any component. So I have to make the changes there as well. So the slash has to be slash home, and then only we'll be able to go to the home page. So let's go there and add those changes. So this is the navigation bar, and yeah, so for the home link I have specified path as slash. I'm going to make it home slash home, save it and go to the browser. Now if I click on this, yeah, we are now at the home page, and this is the path slash home. So now we have the working routing inside our application. So let's now add some links for the products as well. So when I click in here on the title, I should be able to go to the product page where I can see all the details of the product. Okay, so we here see just the first 100 characters of the description of this product, but on the product details page, we should be able to see the whole description. So for now, we are going to add the same information, but still we will be able to add the new component which is going to provide us every information for this product in the future. But for now, let's add a new route which is going to maybe it will be slash products, and then we will pass some ID. So based on this ID, we will be able to see the product details. So let's make changes for that. Okay, first of all, just keep it slash, not slash home, and we have to make the same changes in app.jsx, so it has to be slash. Okay, now I'm going to create a new component, product details.jsx, and let's create a functional component for this one. This is going to accept some props, which I will specify later. Okay, so let's return some JSX, and this will be the image of the product first. Source will be thumbnail, which will be one of the props. Alternate text will be the title in case the image doesn't load. Then we will have a header for the title. So I'm just doing the same thing which I have done for the product card. Okay, so the description and then the price. All right, let's export this. Product details, and let's have some props as well. Thumbnail, price, title, description. Okay, so now we have this product details component, and we want to add a new route as well so that we will be able to see the product details. Okay, so the path will be slash products slash ID. So this is how you add dynamic routes. So this is how you create dynamic routes. So based on this ID, we will be able to see the information of the product. So if the ID is 1, we'll be able to see the first product. If the ID is 2, we'll be able to see the second product. So this is how the dynamic routing works. And the element for this one, let's see, product details. And this will be the element. Okay, now we have this route, and inside the product details page, I will have to add some logic to somehow access this ID. So when someone hits this URL, the product details page will be loaded, it will be rendered, but we somehow have to access this ID, and this will be done using one hook which is named as use params, and this is also provided by the React Router DOM package. So I'm going to import use params. This is from React Router DOM. Inside my component, I'm going to destructure it. I'm going to specify the ID which has to be the same one which we have mentioned in here, and it will be returned by the use params hook. Okay, and let's add a link to the title as well. So we have the product card, and instead of having the h2, let's keep the header but also add a link which will take us to products. So the URL has to be the same, and here in this case I think I have to make it dynamic because I need to add the ID as well. So the link will be products and then ID. Okay, for this one we don't have any ID because we are not receiving this from props. So let's make changes to props. Let's receive some ID, and we receive it from the home.jsx file. Yeah, let's add this new prop, product.id. Okay, and it should be fine now. It should take us to the product details page. Okay, so I've made a lot of changes now. Let's see what we have in the app. You can see instead of having the plain text header, we now have the link which we have provided in the product card component. If I click this, I get to see the URL is changing, and we now can see the ID, and we don't see any details because for this one, when we receive the ID, we have to fetch the details of that product by making an API call. So let's access the dummy JSON API, and I want to access the specific product. So I can use this URL for this one. Okay, and I think I already have this URL where I'm using to fetch all the products. But if you want to specify, if you want to fetch a specific product, then you have to specify the ID. So I can make use of it now. So let's go to the code. So as I said, I already make an API call for all the products, and I have this hook. So I don't want to create another hook just to fetch one product. I should be able to make it more dynamic so that I can make use of it to fetch either all the products or uh, only one product. So to do that, I think it should be able to get an argument which is an ID, and if an ID has been passed to it as an argument, then it should make an API call to fetch one product. If it doesn't find the ID, then it should fetch all the products. So based on that, we can manipulate or we can make changes to the URL. So the the initial URL will be just this one. All right. Now if it gets an ID, the URL should be this URL, the existing one, and then it should add an ID to it. Okay, else the URL should be the existing URL first, and then add a limit to it, which is 500. Okay, and here I can just specify the URL variable. All right, now the thing is, let's remove this log as well. When I receive the data for this URL where I'm fetching all the products, we get to see an array inside the response, and that's why I'm assigning data.products to this state variable. But in case of one single product, we don't receive an array, we just receive an object which contains that product. So in case of single product, I should assign data. In case of fetching all the products, it should be data.products. Okay, so we need to make changes in here as well. So if we have the ID, then we should set, say, the products to just data. If not, then let's set data.products to it. Alright, now I've made some changes to this use fetch products and I should be able to use this inside my product details page. So I'm going to import use fetch products and let's import or let's extract products error and is loading from use fetch products. Okay, and in this case I'm going to pass an ID. Now in here I should, okay, I think I made a mistake by passing props to it because we are anyway fetching the product by making this call and I don't need to receive props for this one. So let's remove this and instead of thumbnail I'm going to do products.thumbnail. Same goes for the title in here as well. So everywhere where I was using props I'm going to change it to products dot and then its name. Okay, so it should work fine now and let's add the loading text logic as well. So if it's true, return the span element, the same thing which we have done for the home page. If we get an error, then return the error. Okay, this should be fine. Let's save this and we are not passing these props now. So in product details where I'm using this out.jsx, okay, I'm not passing the props either. Okay, so let's save this and go to the browser and let's see what we have. Okay, you see this now? We can see the whole information about the product and this is only a single product. If I go to home page again, click on this one, I get to see information of this product, so which is the second product. So now this is working fine. All right, this works for everything now. So we have added the dynamic routing for this one as well. So this is the static routing which we see in here for the home page, but for the product details, this is the dynamic routing, which where we are able to see the products based on the ID we specify, and that means the changes we made into the use fetch products hook, they are also working fine. So we haven't received any error from there as well. So this is how you add routing to your React application. So we have seen this, the normal routing, the static routing, and the dynamic routing. Now I want to see the children routes as well. I want to show you how to add the children routes. So let's get to that. So to demonstrate the child routes or the nested routes, let's say we have a user page and inside the user page either want to show the profile information, the user profile, or I want to show the settings, the user settings. And for this one, let me add a new page. Okay, user.jsx. Okay, and this is going to be a simple functional component. I'm going to remove this afterwards. It's here just to give you an example of child routes. Okay, and return a header which says user. Export default user. Okay, now inside the app.jsx file, I'll have to create a new route for it. Okay, and if you notice, I'm making it a wrapper because I want to add the child routes and they will go inside it. But for this one, it will be user and the element will be user. Okay, now inside it, I'm going to create two more routes. So these are the child routes. So the path will be user profile. And here I'm going to say profile. Let's have another route. The path is going to be user and settings. And let's add another h2 element which says settings. Okay, I'm going to add a navigation bar in the user page as well, so we'll be able to go from the profile to the settings. So let's wrap this inside something. Okay, so have a navigation bar. Let's add the list items. It will be a link and this will go to user's profile. Okay, we'll have another one and this will go to users settings. And to to be able to see that header from the profile page or the settings page or the profile and settings route, so for this one when we navigate to profile we should be able to see the header saying profile. In this case we should be able to see the settings. So to make it dynamic and to render the child routes, the React Router DOM package offers us one more component which is known as outlet. And I can just add this one in here. Let's see what if I don't add it, and let's see what we get. So save these changes, go to the browser. Now I know that I have the user route in here. Okay, I can see the profile and settings. If I click on this one, you see we get to see the no routes match location users profile. Okay, so we get to the user's profile, but there is no route matching for it, even if we have created the route for it. We have specified that we want to have this route and we want to be able to see the header saying profile, but still we don't have it. The same thing is going to happen for settings as well. And this is what happens when you don't add or when you don't make use of the outlet component. So the outlet component is used to render the child routes or the nested routes. So we can just import it and place it in our component and everything will be rendered based on that. So let's go and add the outlet component. Let's add the outlet component in here and it's a self-closing tag. Let's save this. Now after adding outlet, if I click on profile, we again get the same warning that no routes matched location uses profile. If I click on settings, we get the same warning again. And do you know why this happened? Because I have made a silly mistake from my side, and I'll show you what it is. So here we have the link users/profile and users/settings. If I come to the app.jsx file, the link is user/profile and user/settings. So I have added an extra s, which is causing this error. Let's remove it. You have to make silly mistakes to learn new things, so that is bound to happen. That's okay. Well, I'm telling this to myself, so yeah. Now it should be working fine, I hope. Profile, yeah, we get to see the profile. Settings, we get to see the settings. Okay, so this is how the child routes work. This is how the nested routes work. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe the channel and like the video as well. And I'll see you in the next one.